You are listening to Minor Metrics. I'm your host, Chris Mellon. This show is powered by a script written by Lockfox and Eve Prosper. This content is aimed at players participating in the mining profession and is provided nightly to give you, dear listener, the information you need to sell your product at the right price. Starting off with Tritanium, we see the capital mining crash and nerf recovery. Zooming into 90 days, we see a sideways trajectory with some volatility. Looking at the RSI, we can see we are slightly overvalued. A supply glut is moving through this market and we'll probably see a drop down to 4.0. Selling at right this moment isn't a terrible idea, but if you can't do that, you'll have to weather out the coming storm and wait for a price rebound in about a month. Next up is Pyrite, with the same crash recovery pattern. Zooming in, we can see our price has not been subject to as much volatility as Tritanium, and is headed pretty steadily down. Unlike Tritanium, I don't see this as a good time to get out. I would recommend holding for the rebound after the extra supply has cleared the market. Mech Salon is still at an amazing price, but zooming in, we can see this growth is stalled out with a 60% RSI. It's still a good time to sell Mech Salon, but I do it sooner rather than later. Assuming there's no wildcard news at FanFest, this price should drop off at some point, and the price is too good to sit on. Moving through to Isagen, we see the same picture as Tritanium and Pyrite. Zooming in, we see a modest rebound, and again moving sideways. My advice is the same as it was for Pyrite. Wait out this supply glut moving through, and sell your product after the rebound that is likely to happen. Next up is Noxian with the same crash and rebound pattern. As I said last episode, I believe that this is a long-term peak in price. I think there will be a crash along the same line as Tritanium, but I think the rebound price will result in a similar price to the one we see today. My current best advice is to liquidate before the start of the drop. Dai Greene breaks the mold with a peak and crash in the early year. Zooming in, we can see the recovery is not only slight, but it is stalled. This is what a stable trough looks like, and it is best to wait for a change in demand to sell. I can't pin down when the price will rise, but I estimate you should be willing to hold for at least a couple months for the opportunity to arise. For the last of our regular minerals, we have Megasite. Megasite peaked around the same time as Dai Greene, but has experienced a volatile and slow fall since. Zooming in, we can see the volatility has brought us back down in line with the moving average. I do believe this market is headed further down, and this volatility does allow you to cash out on par. There probably will be a better opportunity in the future to do so, but that would require watching the market to spot it. In the end, I'd cash out unless you're able to log in on call for the next few days. Lastly, we have the stable Morphite. Our yearly graph is unremarkable, but zooming in, we can see a steady decline in price over the last month or so. Recently, we've had a bit of upward volatility to compensate for the rather rapid decline over the last week. Unfortunately, my advice for Morphite is the same as before. Holding is really the only option. For the Morphite price to be acceptable, we need to see a larger scale Tech 2 engagement, and that just hasn't happened in a while. This has been Chris Mellon for Minor Metrics. That'll do it for the show. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check tomorrow for another episode.